Here we go!
Get that last no-scope kill and hit pause. It's time for the video game podcast where the Konami code is alive and well. The console wars don't exist. Rings are just as valuable as coins. Pots are not safe from swords. Giant robots kick ass. And fireballs are a perfectly acceptable weapon in a fist fight. That's right. It's time for the Super Gamer Bros podcast, Ultra Hyper Alpha Super EX Double Impact Plus A Live. Settle in and let's get to gaming.
Hey everyone, welcome to Super Gamer Bros Live. It's Thursday. We're a little early today because my timing has been way off. I'm not even gonna lie. I was ready to go at 7:30, and I was like, "Hey, where's Cynic?" And Pocky's like, "We're not on until 8." I was like, "No, we're on at 7:30. We're not on until 8." Like,
no, you're like freaking out. Like, where's Cynic? Oh my god!
I'm freaking out. Like, I'm way off timing today. I cannot even.
I'm like, look at your own post.
So I'm one of your gamers, Slayton, and I'm joined by.
I'm Cynic. Hello.
I'm Pocky.
So we are your gamers from Kaiju Live Media. We love doing this. We started doing this weekly, and yes, I will admit, Cynic, this has been super fun doing it weekly.
I have bad news. Next Thursday, I may not be here. I don't get off till 7:15, 7:30. So
it's okay. I'll take over.
Well, I will take
Courtney's
over.
like, you don't need him. So, as you guys know, we love getting together and just talking video games. We have all sorts of fun. And this week, we put our...
Laughing at you.
We haven't gotten to the point where we're advertising ourselves just to the point where it's really good yet. So this week we were testing some waters, and we put our question of the week up early. So we're going to do things a little differently. We're going to do a question of the week, then we're going to do our thoughts, and then we're going to get into the news, because we always have fun things to talk about that don't really quite fit into the news structure, and we're going to try some new things over the coming weeks. So this week's going to be the start of it. But let's get started with our question of the week, and I put this one up for you guys. Now, this isn't just related to a video game you played. It could be an experience from buying a game or running into another game or whatever. But what was your most infuriating moment as a gamer?
I
love it. Yeah, I have my answer.
I'm ready for your answer. I've got a couple choices here.
I think Pocky said he had one, so he could start. I'll go second. Cynic will go third.
I actually have mine now, so I'm ready. Go guys, go for it.
Oh, awesome. So one of my more infuriating moments was when one of my memory. You remember the old PlayStation 1 memory cards? I cheaped out and I got one of the Generico ones that had like 350 spaces. I didn't know when you hit that button, you delete everything.
Ouch.
And that was when Sony was first experimenting with 35-minute long cutscenes in the beginning of every video game you'll ever own.
Yes, Final Fantasy was king of that stuff. Like the summons were 15 minutes.
Yeah, so I had that. And so, yeah, that was one of my most infuriating, what the hell, just, oh, God, moments.
You erased your fun. All right, so mine was when I was a kid. I don't know if you guys remember when video game companies used to have the call-in hotlines for tips. And they were all
that was actually
okay.
That was a plot point in The Wizard, remember?
Yes, so I had my... Was it the Master System that had Fantasy Zone? It was Master System. And they had just released the Genesis, and so I was in a position of transitioning, but I loved Fantasy Zone. Fucking love Fantasy Zone. I bought it on the Switch this week because I love it so much. The final boss is a bitch. And our phone wasn't working, so my friend, who was my neighbor, was like, hey, let's go use my dad's phone. So we go over there, we dial this 900 number. We're on this phone for like 10 minutes on hold while this lady's like, and so we finally get there, like, what can we help you with on the Sega helpline? I'm like, I really need to know how to beat the final boss of Fantasy Zone. She goes, excuse me, what? I said Fantasy Zone. How do we beat the final boss of Fantasy Zone? Oh, I don't really know. Maybe you just need to move around a bunch. Thanks for calling. Click.
That was a $30 phone call, wasn't it?
$30 for that bitch to tell me, oh, I don't know. Move around a bunch. Thanks. Click. The only time I ever got pissed off at Sega, the only fucking time, was when I, as a child, needed help on a game, and you're like, I don't fucking know. Move.
I wouldn't say
dodge.
I wouldn't say only, but that's awful. That really hurts. Was it one of those automated systems, or was it an actual person?
It was an actual person because they had like the guides and stuff, and I guess because Fantasy Zone was such one of those weird offshoot games that nobody on the face of the earth would call it on, except for this fool. They were like, don't know. Have fun.
We don't know. Bye.
That's
The call
exactly
is
what
not.
it was.
This call is not monitored or recorded for quality. We'll bill you. Bye.
Yeah, no, I was so mad. It ended up costing us $30. My mom was not very happy.
That's amazing.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least.
All right, my turn. This was we have a Facebook group called Mortal Kombat ATX. So Mortal Kombat X is how it comes out. It's very clever for our Facebook group who made that. I was at a particular tournament. There was one person in particular. For a time, yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
ATX. I don't understand how it spells out Mortal Kombat.
You'd have to see the logo.
Okay.
Yes.
I was going to go. There's an A, there's a T, there's an X.
When you see the logo that they made, they blend them, so it says Mortal Kombat, and then they highlight ATX at the end. So it was a clever little thing that they did.
I see it now.
Yes, yeah. It's a good little group. They still do tournaments to this day, except for right now, of course, being with the lockdown and all.
Why did you do tournaments? You could just play online.
I mean, because we don't do online trade. The whole point is to meet in person, fool. You were complaining that your friends never met in person before. Yeah, we did that all the time, every day. So I haven't done it lately.
But the game has to be a service, sir.
No, it does not. So the service was me serving your ass on a platter if you played me in that game. So
I will never play you in that game. Trust me.
Oh, I know. It's a terrifying thought. So I haven't been going to their groups lately because of the pregnancy kid, all that good stuff. But I still love those guys. There's one in particular who ended up moving, who did a real good job of keeping the thing together for a couple of years, actually. His name is Andres, great guy. Used to, for a while, I was kind of like on top in that group, and then he leveled up and a lot of other people did. And I had a hard time, especially with him after he found his character. He got knocked off by somebody else during one of the last tournaments that we were doing in a season. So I was like, Andres is gone. Awesome. Like the rest is going to be a cakewalk. And so I end up fighting a guy who also a very nice guy, used Scorpion with the two swords. And if anybody has played Mortal Kombat X, if you know Ford 2, where he takes these two swords and hits you overhead, and it's this crappy little 50-50 thing. It's really hard to block. Like he can choose whether he goes low or high, and it's ridiculous. Just you'd have to play it to see how stupid it is. So I ran through him the first match. The second match, I had a little bit of trouble, but he ended up beating me. The third match, I thought I had in the bag, and then this dude made a comeback and ended up beating me and knocking me out of the tournament, where I literally thought I wouldn't have any trouble with him. Now, mind you, I do like this guy personally very much, but man, this is the only time I've ever taken a controller and smashed it on the ground, because I knew I had that tournament won. And this Scorpion, who I do not like the way that character plays, man, it just made me so salty. Smashed it, shattered it on the ground. I am totally embarrassed myself, so yeah, that was not a proud moment. I was heated.
Our memories are erasing of the memory, the expensive 900 number, and the rage quit.
And it was not a rage quit. It was I had been defeated.
He got
sore loser. Yeah.
Sore loser. Yes, it was the sorest I've ever been ever. And so yeah, definitely humbling after that to have to go, oh man, like I really got to keep that in check. Yeah, that was not fun.
So that's been our question of the week. If you guys have a question of the week, hit us up on Facebook. We'll ask it. We'll answer it. We'll have lots of fun with you guys. But let's do something a little new. Before we get into the news, let's talk about what's been in our gamer minds. And like what we've been playing, things we're excited about. Just okay, let's let Pocky start, because I will not hear the end of this shit if he doesn't.
Yeah, once the glare goes away, we'll know what it is.
We already know what it is. It's Persona 5. He's been talking about it for like a year now.
Well, we know what it is.
Yes. I can't even show. The problem is I'm using a green screen.
He's green screening, so it all looks like gold and shimmery. Like, come on,
It
guys.
is gold. That's the problem.
I got to talk about Doom the other day, so Pocky, let her rip.
Oh, Persona 5 Royal. Talk about another infuriating moment. My GameStop has not received a UPS shipment in 2 weeks. Which means the last shipment of games they got was Doom and Animal Crossing.
Oh, then it's fine.
And I just also been playing Animal Crossing, but I have a totally different rant for that game later. So my brother got his copy of this game, and it's like, hey, I play World of Warcraft because right now one of the things they're doing for the coronavirus is giving lots of EXP bonuses out to get people to play, have some fun. Yeah. And he's also been playing Animal Crossing. So he's like, here, borrow my copy, just give me yours when it comes in. So I've got the day one theme for this, which is the complete theme for Persona 5 Royals PlayStation. So it has like the intro music as your background music for the game. It has nice little images and it changes all the icons, things in the game. And so if you played Persona 5, and the difference between 5 and Royal is another story. Basically, it's what if these series of events happened and we introduced 2 new characters and a whole bunch of new stuff. And it's also a major retweak of the game where they've added, fixed some quality of life stuff, and including one of the things where you had to get a certain confidant up to a point to get one of the basic skills you needed called the Baton Pass, which allows you to change during, if you hit an enemy's weak spot, you can like change players or characters to do even more damage. They made that a standard part of the game now instead of having to go get that confidant. She's got another skill instead. It's really good. They've introduced more story scenes, so I kind of knew 5 pretty much forward to back, and I'm like, oh wait, that's 4 new lines in the tutorial alone, and then like whole new scenes and whatnot. There's adding more story that wasn't there, or making things a little bit more complete, where characters are like, oh, this character's ever. Sorry, allergies.
Something tells me that your body's like, stop talking about Persona 5, bitch.
It basically like there's a couple characters that don't show up until much later in the game, and they're in the background like talking to other characters, just like, oh, I need to go gardening. Well, she's this character who's likes to garden on the roofs, and in the early part of the game, she actually shows up, just being there, like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's totally worth getting.
And that's causing your allergies, the excessive rooftop gardening.
No, Oklahoma. Not Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma. All of Oklahoma. I have family members in Oklahoma right now that are ultra conservative and find Facebook a good ventilating point. So yes, damn Oklahoma right now.
So
are you trying to say Okimura?
No, Oak. Just Oklahoma.
My moment right now is I'm really kind of enjoying the season of Destiny. I don't like the grind to upgrade the bunkers because it's ridiculous, but I do like the public event, and I've been enjoying that. And can I just say, like, I can't wait to get Animal Crossing. I haven't gotten it because I'm behind on bills right now, but I'm going to be getting it. But I'm most excited for it because I really, 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 really hope that Nintendo does something fun like this for it, because I mean, this is just amazing. I want Pokemon to. I mean, how do you not do this, Nintendo? How do you not do this? This is like prime example of what you should be doing.
But would it be better if we just didn't allow, like, for every time a friend joined your island, you had to wait 7 minutes and watch a video?
I mean, yeah, there's lots of wrong things, but this could be something that would bring it. Like, look at that Lugia. He's like a little preppy guy wearing what is that, an apron? I don't even know.
No, look at Wooloo. Wooloo is the one that's ruling that, okay?
No, I think Porygon right there looks pretty startled.
Porygon looks like it didn't want to be there and someone shoved a dress on it.
Yeah, but I think this is prime example of what Nintendo could be doing to really cross-promote and have a lot of fun, but they're not going to do it, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because they just really do hate us.
No, they don't believe in
that's what Smash Brothers is for. Everything else is separate.
Yeah. No, so I've been having a lot of fun with that, and I just think I'm looking for something new. I'm waiting for something new. I just don't know what it is yet. Like, I still love Destiny. People are complaining to high heaven about it because people will complain about anything that's a massive friend. Like, I love hearing people complain about World of Warcraft. I just love hearing gamers complain. And like, I've already talked to you guys before this show about one of my issues I'm having right now with some of my older friends, and we're gonna do a whole topic on that later on. But it's just like I feel like I'm evolving out of the old gamer sense into this new gamer sense, and I like it, but it's not exactly gamer friendly to a lot of people. So that's what's on my mind.
Gotcha.
Quick.
Our DLC is going to be me and you yelling at each other.
As I'm sitting in my chair, like la 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 la. I paid $30 for a 900 phone call. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So what do you want me to say now?
What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Period. This is just DLC. All right. What's on my mind? I mean, I've been playing. Of course, I've been trying to go through Doom on the more higher difficulty levels.
The more higher.
Yes, the more high difficulty, the more highest, the most highest,
the most highest difficulty. I am a Doom Slayer.
The most highest. Yes. So last time I talked to you guys, I hadn't beaten the game yet. I did beat the game since then, and I started on a new difficulty level.
Question for you, real quick: did it have a really good ending cinematic?
Not really.
Like, there's nothing more disappointing than when you go through the epicness of a game and you get like a game over screen, and it's like done.
Yeah, the funny thing is the last Doom 2016 gave a kind of a better send off to the final boss than this one did, and also had it didn't have a better ending per se, but it did have a better presented cutscene because in the last Doom game, if you hadn't played it, he sticks the BFG into the Spider Mastermind's mouth. And if you've never seen the Spider Mastermind, this giant gun gets shoved into its mouth like a oversized horse pill. And then this thing has a massive brain. And so he shoots the weapon. It explodes like a whole back of the brain out and just leaves like a canyon in the middle of it. And it's a great visual. So he finishes off the boss in a crazy fashion. It was amazing to look at. And then you are kind of presented towards one of the final guys, and you're sent back to hell. And so it's a cliffhanger, but it was well presented, and it left me wanting to play Doom Eternal a lot, of course. So the final cinematic for this new boss, it's kind of like, oh, you stabbed it, you killed it, it's dead, and then you start walking away, and you're like, all right, well, you managed to save the Earth, but your fight will never be over. And it will be eternal. And then boom. And I'm like, wait a minute. What?
We promise you more sequels.
I was like, okay. So I guess there is, if you have the game, the pass for it, the season pass, apparently there's going to be more campaign DLC for it. I'm pretty disappointed that, I went through all that and then just kind of got a kind of ending. So
see, that's just so infuriating because I remember the first time I had that was when I played Aladdin on the Genesis, and it was such a great game. And then the end scene was just like them going over the moon. That was it. I was like,
down,
really?
down, and end. Yeah.
Although Final Fantasies are usually pretty badass about their endings. I'm not going to complain. Final Fantasy VII's end scene was like a whole movie in and of itself. Like
6's ending was great too. It was like,
yeah,
that was, and then 10's ending was, I think the one that had the most disappointing ending was probably 10-2 or 10. It's one of the two.
I care for either of those, so I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, it was just like it ended.
Yeah. Yeah, I was playing the Wolfenstein games in order to kind of prepare for Doom also. And if you've never played, those are all on the Games Pass. And so, of course, New Order was really good. New Colossus was kind of bashed by a lot of people, but I liked it quite a bit. And then the New Blood, the third Wolfenstein game, I guess, in this New Order trilogy, it was kind of like a Far Cry 2 sandbox kind of didn't always make sense kind of game, but you played the two twins of BJ Blazkowicz, and watching these two women kind of rip and tear through everything is pretty amazing once you get leveled up enough. But there's also like zero story throughout there until the very end, which is actually funny. Like there's not much story at all through the game. There's only a few cutscenes, and then at the very end, you actually get like a cool, hey, the Wolfenstein universe might cross over with Doom. You find out there's a lot more universes out there, and they all cross over sometimes.
Brothers.
And I was like, oh, cool. So it is introducing like the Wolfenstein verse, and
well, they said that in the original Bible that B.J. Blazkowicz, the hero of Wolfenstein, is the great great grandfather of the Doom Marine.
Yeah, there was the Bible. They also had a Wolfenstein. I think it was RPG on a phone, and they had the Doom RPG on a phone. So during the Wolfenstein game, you kill a giant demon and you blow it like to pieces, and this same demon appears as the cyber demon in the Doom RPG later on. So. Yeah. They kind of do tie it together there, but this is really the first time like a AAA game that they've made has come out in the story and said, hey, these may be connected. And in fact, it might not be a descendant, but it actually may be Blazkowicz himself from another dimension or in another time. They haven't gone out of their way to say it. They've just left the door open and been like, have fun with this concept. So, yeah.
All right, so that's been what's on our mind. Let's go ahead and get into the news. We don't have a whole lot to talk about because there wasn't really a whole lot this week, which I found kind of weird how some weeks are super heavy. But I think it's because we got the big 2 releases of the...
Well, Sat and many game studios right now are empty.
Yeah. So let's talk about the first news story Pocket's bringing to the table, which I call the great cancellation we all saw coming. What happened, Pocket?
So technically one of them I saw coming. The other one I didn't see coming, but you say you can. First one was PlayStation announced an indefinite hiatus, according to part of it, of Iron Man VR experience. And then the other one, which at first was announced as indefinite, but then the publisher said, no, just temporary because we need to work on the quality of this game, which is The Last of Us Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Part 2 has been temporarily put on hold until a future release date is announced. Their official reasoning was the quality of the game was not living up to their standards, and they want to improve the quality of the game for all aspects, and so forth. The outstanding theory is that it is more likely to do with the fact that the game is about a virus that breaks out on Earth, causing a mass epidemic that kills a whole bunch of people, leaving
We're
the rest
gamers. We don't care about that shit.
Yeah,
zombie
apocalypse.
Zombie games right now. Come on, like.
So the outstanding theory is that yes, because. So the outstanding theory is that yes, it is coronavirus. It is another reason why people are kind of surprised that Resident Evil 3 is coming out as quickly as it is. But there is another theory that because of Resident Evil coming out so on top of each other, but this one they're like the fans who like Resident Evil 3 might also like Last of Us, and Naughty Dog does not want to fight Capcom on this one, considering how well Resident Evil 2 did.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight it. Resident Evil 2 was awesome.
And Resident Evil 3, yeah, and I played the demo of that one.
Yep.
God.
The demo is fantastic. I was downloading that after our last podcast, or during our last podcast, and got to play it. And what a great game!
You made good points, Pocky, on why you didn't see the Naughty Dog coming, but I saw it coming because there's been a really big fuss, especially with working from home, that's brought a light onto game development companies and how much they overwork their people. And Naughty Dog was on top of the list because of their perfectionism. So for about 2 or 3 weeks now, there have been reports about how burnt out their gamers, their developers are, and this working from home thing isn't helping. And so I saw whatever they were going to be working on being delayed right away. I'm surprised it took this long to announce it, but they have been in the news for severely overworked employees because they all are perfectionists. There's a lot of detail that goes into that, but it does take a cost on the developer side.
Yeah.
And so people are starting to try to examine more the developer side of things on these games that we expect to be in a certain way. There is a cost for it. So it was a bunch of articles about the community of game developers and how our expectations are kind of interfering with their lives and their livelihoods.
Yeah, it's a big conversation for a lot of AAA
Mhm.
companies in general.
Yeah.
Just that game developers are highly overworked. It's definitely not just a Naughty Dog thing. But
Yeah.
if you're in the news as a gaming company for overworking your employees, then you must be going way above and beyond.
Well, Red Light, CD Project Red was recently in the news. They're all getting in the news for this. It's just, I think this time it was Naughty Dog's turn to be in the spotlight for it.
Maybe.
No, they all are. There's only one company that claims they don't want it, and that's Nintendo. And even people who formerly worked at Nintendo says they're against crunch time, and that explains why it takes forever for Nintendo. And I don't think it's gamers. I think gamers are responding to the marketing department of video game companies.
No,
Hear me out. Look at E3. They will show a trailer to a game that even the creator of the game and the people making the game didn't know about. Like, look at Smash Brothers. When one of the Smash Brothers games got announced, the creator of the game didn't even know that he was making a Smash Brothers game at the time. When he went to Miyamoto about this, Miyamoto says, we're going to make it with you or without you. Give you a hint, I don't care about the project as much as you do. At what point he did start making the game. Anthem, which we talked about earlier, they didn't know. Nobody knew what the game was going to look like or anything. They had 2 pieces of art, and that was it. That trailer at E3 that showed off what the game was supposed to be, the development team found out what their game was going to be that minute with the rest of us. So is it us as gamers? Yes, we have expectations. Are they placed upon us? Look at the trailers and tell me what you think. When they promote all this stuff, when they say 350 hours, we're going to support the game for 10 years. Look at all the stuff you can do. Yeah, we're going to have expectations when you hand it to us.
They wouldn't have to set these expectations if we weren't already asking for them.
Really? When did we ask for them?
Every time we buy a brand new game system that's upgraded. Every time we bought a new Game Boy that was upgraded. Every time we bought a new game that had better graphics or better sweat mechanics or better AI. They're to the point now where we have come to expect so much from these games. I'm guilty of it as well. Because I try not to go with expectations, but like I told you, I've been in Destiny since the beta day. And I watched it go, and there are things that I expect out of that game, and I don't even mean to, but I do. And what we as non-game developers expect sometimes doesn't translate well. It's just like when you call an IT department and you're complaining about something you want. Well, it's not just a simple fix. They keep doing this because we keep expecting and looking for the next bigger, best thing, the next most beautiful thing. Like, they do it because it's what we are looking for.
But unfortunately, there's a big, there's a trend of people who, of game developers who overpromise and underdeliver. And I think that is a big problem and a big trend. And it's not just a game thing. I mean, that's just a bigger business thing in general, too, that you don't want to do. But unfortunately, when you do that throughout a lot of games, then a lot of big developers, especially AAA games, will overpromise, underdeliver. And then what people have in their hands at the end of the day is a video game. It's just entertainment. And if people are thinking that they're going to have this mind-blowing, amazing, crazy experience that's going to be expanded upon and that they're going to be able to live in forever, and then they get their hands on it and you're like, oh, I'm walking around and I'm shooting things and I'm going to have different missions like you're playing a video game. So I think that sometimes the best thing you can do is under-promise and over-deliver.
But the problem is the gaming industry does the reverse.
It's
like
just
all
not,
the time.
That's just not that's not the goal of a marketing department, you know. I think.
Well, the other thing,
but, I mean, that's not their job.
That I find hilarious is they can't prepare a plan for every eventuality.
No.
So when you have these people who come in and break the game because that's what they want to do, and then complain, there's. They do their gatherings requiring, they do everything they can, but you can't plan for that jackass who wants to literally go out and break your game, find every exploit they can. Like, I got really mad at Destiny because I had a helmet, and my helmet, when I would do power melee damage, would blind a group of people at a burst. Well, they didn't code it right, and if you did any kill with a finisher, which is their new super move, it would blind everybody. So they completely disabled it without telling anybody. So I mean, it's things that they don't prepare for that something breaks, and there's people who literally out there like, oh, I got into this room that I wasn't supposed to. Like, there are people actively out there trying to break these games, improve things. So it's like when we brought up No Man's Sky. What was the first thing people did? They went to try to find problems. They went to try to go as far as they could, not playing the game the way it was meant to be played, to try to find these problems, and it caused a huge amount of issue.
Well, there's always going to be those people for sure.
There always will be, but you can't play for things like that.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, though, I mean, you have the internet, and you have people who talk on it all day long, and the first thing that's going to pop up is something negative, and it's going to spread like wildfire. So you just got to make sure that when somebody does find something to break, like the first thing they find better be something either a little down the ways, or it better not be a fundamental thing about the game that's a problem for everybody. You know, there's a big difference between like Assassin's Creed Unity coming out and you walk around and it breaks, and then somebody who plays No Man's Sky and tries to go far beyond and breaks it by going into infinity. There's a difference between the effort and then no effort in breaking something.
Yeah,
and that's the biggest problem. Is these companies? It's not even that people go out there and try to break them. The problem is like when you get a Bethesda Skyrim, people are going to go look for the bugs in the Skyrim game or in an Elder Scrolls game because that's what they're known for. But the other problem is a company that doesn't put the effort in, like Ubisoft or Bethesda or other companies that like release games with the idea of it's a live service, so we can update and patch it later. We can fix it, just get it out the door, because our stockholders, who is their real customers, need to be appeased this quarter. And the more we have an industry that focuses more on what can we get away with and patch later is becoming the issue in the industry. It's not even people looking out there to break the game. It's the games are already broken.
Well, the other problem is and you know, I live with an IT guy. Like Phil's all about IT. They speak in such technical terms that oftentimes it can be misinterpreted as something else because they don't know how to explain it. And I think a lot of times when these people overpromise, they're not exactly meaning to do it, but we may be misinterpreting some things. I know that's not always the situation, but
I would say Peter Molyneux, sir. Peter Molyneux? We still supposed to be playing Fable 2, sir.
I don't think he is an actual IT developer. I think he's more of a spearhead and a figurehead that doesn't actually get in there. So he wants to do these great things, but they don't know how to translate it. So he's out there spinning his spin without the barriers of how are we going to do this? And then it comes out how it's like Fable was still a really fun game. All of them were still really fun. They weren't what we were promised, but they were still fun.
Right. But that's becoming the problem. When you have the Peter Molyneux, you have the guy from Gearbox, you have the guys from No Man's Sky, all those guys who go out there and like super hype, and they talk out of their ass 9 times out of 10.
Here's the other thing you have to look at. They got press. They got people buying their games. They've got better games today because of it. Like No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is an amazing game today.
Yeah, today after 1 year, and they had to update the crap out of the damn thing.
They did it,
and
they got
a lot of
needed to go because they made the sales to fund where they needed to go. I mean, it's all business.
No, they already had the money. They had a whole bunch of shit.
They got the different to get where they needed to go. I guarantee you, that's how we got to this point.
No, we got here to this point because they lied through their ass, and when they were called out on it, they had to go fix the damn thing. I
think the bottom line that some of these people should get is I hate to keep talking about Doom, but when id was supposed to release Doom in November, they pushed it back and said, hey, we're really sorry, but it's not going to happen until March. We got some kinks to work out so that it's going to be a good game. And I know that there were some gamers out there who just got all pissed off and blew their tops because that game, I've been so looking forward to it, and it's not coming out now. And they're like, hang on, dude, we are gonna give time and gonna take the time to give you the experience that we wanted to deliver to you, that we marketed to you, that you expect. So I'd say to developers, don't ever be afraid to take that time. If something's a broken piece of shit, take some time and try to fix it if you can. But don't sit there and like Anthem, unfortunately, who had a year to make Anthem. Unfortunately,
what they call it, the BioWare magic. Just tell everyone what the game is going to be about and make it happen.
And make it happen, yeah. And so I mean, it was a cool concept. Looked cool. I heard it was kind of fun, sort of, a little bit, but it was busted. It was completely busted when it came out. It was broken. Yeah. You couldn't play it. So
they made Iron Man unfun.
Let's
yeah, how do you do that?
Let's get to our next news story, which I didn't. I mean, honestly, I did not believe this until I saw it. I call this "What the hell, GameStop."
The many things that they've done.
Telling people to just wrap their hands in plastic bags and keep them. After being an essential business, they're like, they have got to be so far gone.
I'm so glad that I waited for you to tell me during the podcast.
Oh my God. I think this coronavirus is going to kill GameStop. I mean, they were already going down. They brought in Reggie Fils-Aimé to try to fix it. It's just tanking.
GameStop's gonna kill GameStop, man. It's
they've been slowly doing it, but now they can't have people come in to rip them off for 23 cents. You know?
They can't do. So they can't do incomes. They've already had. So for I have some people who work at a GameStop. They've had huge pre-order quits. Cancelizations.
They're hemorrhaging money at this point in time.
They're hemorrhaging money. Their number one income is trade-ins. They give you 23 cents for a video game and sell it for $45.
Yeah.
And so they're going to, and they can't take any of that in. They're telling their managers to buy their own hand sanitizing equipment. All those soaps. If someone's calling in sick, don't penalize them. Just don't give them hours. And that's not including the couple of other game companies, the game and trading companies that are going around. It was Games. I think it ends with a Z. The European version of GameStop basically is whatnot. They're declaring themselves a essential business, and they're trying to argue with the heads of the EU over this.
I definitely. I mean, I love video games. We're on a video gaming podcast because I love them, and it's not an essential business. It's not supposed to stay open during this time. And the problem is that every single business that you can think of is hemorrhaging money because of the coronavirus. The best thing you can do at this point is to try and save face and treat people well, so your mistreatment doesn't spread like fucking wildfire. So when you do have the chance to make money, you may be able to survive. But stuff like that, I mean, that's just awful.
I couldn't believe it when I read it, because they already got in trouble and forced to close down in California. Like, the police went to all the stores and shut them down.
Yeah,
I don't think they're open here in town. I don't really go out and about. But
they
shouldn't be.
Like Pocky said, his GameStop hasn't gotten shipment in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So they have nothing to give anybody.
No.
This came from GameStop, but it was through the mail. Like, I ordered this through their, they should really just take this opportunity to focus on online sales, because even like the way gaming is going in the future, it's all going digital. They're going to go down anyways. So find some way to adapt.
Yeah.
Well, they are.
They've done a decent job by doing it. Mm-hmm. Sorry. No, you're good. I think I interrupted you.
I know we've talked about them turning into gaming cafes.
Yes.
Which I still don't really understand.
They also do plushies and pops and all sorts of stuff like that too.
Well, that's more the ThinkGeek influence. Like, they should just shut it down and turn it into ThinkGeek stores. People would go into a ThinkGeek store, and if trading in a game was an offshoot thing, yes. But when you keep that stupid GameStop joke of a name, people are going to be like, no.
I mean, I think it's. I mean, I worked at GameStop for a few years, a long time ago, and so I mean, we've all got our stories. I personally loved the people that I worked with. They were great, and they put up with me back in the day. But it's a completely different company than it was back when I still worked for them, as far as what they're selling. But the mentality hasn't changed. And I mean, it's not an essential business, guys. You're not essential. All your games can be downloaded. There's Nintendo, I mentioned earlier, we can talk about this more, has a great sale going on their service. Xbox is always putting things on sale. PS4 is putting things on sale, especially more when people are at home.
Yeah. So real quick,
Yeah.
since we were going to talk about it anyways, let's just go ahead and talk about this, because there are great sales on Switch games right now.
Yeah.
I want to say this. It's not even just Switch. Sony's got right now got their big spring sale.
Nintendo's sales are notoriously weird.
Yeah, they're weird.
Yeah, rare and weird.
Catch, you have to have a Switch, which you can't find.
Yeah.
Like, yes, because I know that they just announced this week that for Mario's big anniversary, they're going to be pretty much re-releasing and remastering all of the games. So I'm really excited about that. But I was surprised at all the Switch games that are on sale everywhere. And yes, there's other ones that everyone's doing this 2-for-1 sale, all that other stuff. But for Nintendo to like a bunch of these titles that they have on sale, they never put on sale.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, it's a good time. That's why I went ahead and bought Fantasy Zone yesterday. It was only $8. Love it. I won't be calling it this time, but I still love it.
I need to finish beating Bloodstain Ritual of the Night.
So it's interesting. So GameStop's, shame on you. Nintendo, good job on sales. Too bad you don't have Switches on the market.
The reason that they're able to put things on sale is because somebody has those Switches now, because they gone. That means people have Switches.
Like, hey, let's do it.
Yeah. Sales are up. Hey, let's put a sale on there and let's boost some stuff because kids are home. Yeah.
Coming up on our wrap-up of news, for the first time in a long time, it is an Xbox Newsarama. Like, every week, Nintendo pretty much tops our news list because they do a lot of stupid shit, and the fans do a lot of stupid shit. But this week, it's been a lot. Yeah, a lot of Xbox news, and it all got kicked off with this one. And maybe you guys can explain this to me better than I can, but someone stole some code.
Yep.
To the graphics source code. And they're holding it for $100 million ransom. I don't understand this. I think AMD came out and said it's not a big deal. Like, who really cares? What is this? Like, one, you stole some code that processes a graphics card. How is that valuable?
So how is that valuable? How does basically that is the biggest program involved in a console to make your console. That is the program that renders your graphics.
But they haven't been very secret about it. Like, this is everything we have. So, unless this is like some proprietary top secret information, I don't see how this is a big deal because nobody cares.
Well, there's a difference between, competing with the PS5 and showing all the specs that you have to actually having the code that runs it being held hostage. That's pretty rough.
Well, somebody held it hostage. They just stole a copy of it, so it's like,
yeah, that's true. But
what could happen is that program could allow backdoors where companies in China, Korea, Vietnam, and other places, Brazil, and basically all the places that have a lot of black market gaming going on, and I don't mean they can use it as an exploit, or they can even start doing black market gaming, which sounds really weird. And that is a thing.
I figured it'd be a thing, but I was just finding humorous that the maker in Xbox is like, well, so what? You got a code. I don't think
give us your $100 million, or we're gonna send dudes with rain jackets on who are gonna have jank Xboxes with copied source codes on it that are gonna play the game. They'll be like, hey, you want to buy it? You want to buy an Xbox? Come on.
I got one right here. It's all like Xbooks, BUX, like it's
BUX.
Slightly off.
Microsoft, if you don't want to lose billions right now, you better pay me some millions right now, or we're gonna send our army to sell fake Rolexes and Xbox.
You get fake Doom Eternal games. They're like bootlegged, or it's like a little off-colored, and then you put it in and it's like Parappa the Rapper or something. Yeah.
The only other thing that could really be used for is potentially is you could use that code, put it onto a computer, At which point, negate the Xbox and basically run the games through that.
Yeah.
I don't think
Which
Xbox
is kind of stupid.
because they're doing the big push for Windows PC gaming, like the Xbox Games Pass. You can get PC and Xbox games on it. They cross play.
Yeah.
I don't think they're worried about that at all. I find it weird that someone went and stole the Xbox code instead of the PlayStation 5, which I would think would be far more valuable, right at this point in time. I also kind of wonder if it's just kind of a publicity stunt.
Yeah, I wonder
really
if like Xbox is kind of allowing the story to come out too. Like they're like, yeah, someone stole it. They're holding up for 100 million. I mean, whatever.
They're looking at like Jack Sparrow. I've got a jar of sand. I've got a jar of sand.
And it drops it to the side, like, yeah.
I got a jar of jet. I got a jar of jet.
I thought that was pretty funny, but
I that's the only thing I can think of is it. Obviously, I agree with Cynic. I think that part of it is they're letting this out. Like you're trying to blackmail us for $100 million for the source code. We'll let this out that it's going on.
Well, I'd like to look at it. I'd like to look more into the story. Really, I mean, I'm just having some fun here, but and that does seem like potentially that could be a big problem for them. But I mean, ultimately, as long as they're manufacturing Xboxes and they go on sale on the store floor, hopefully they'll make the money that they need to make, and everybody will have their system.
Well, the next news story, which I also find kind of weird that they went to Xbox over PlayStation, which is really making me think that people are going to start getting more behind the philosophy that the Xbox has. Is there were all these news reports about how COVID-19 is going to, delay video game development, and Xbox is like, it may delay game development, but that's fine. Our system is already ready. It's still going to be ready to go. We're not going to hold it back if games are loose. Games can come out when games come out, like they used to always do.
Yeah.
And so, like, everyone's going to Phil Spencer about this, and I'm like, no one's talking to PlayStation about it. Like, okay, they're just going to do whatever they want to do, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's the reason they're going to Sony, to be honest. Microsoft, to be honest, is because you don't have to travel to Asia to talk to the head of Sony.
You can talk to the head of Sony America anytime you wanted to.
Right, but Sony, like, what I'm saying is, if you want to talk to the head of Microsoft, if you want to talk to the head of Xbox, they're in the United States, they're probably really easier to get a hold of. Particularly the big thing is with Sony is Sony Europe and Sony Asia is their big headquarters. Sony America does a couple things, but like Sony Europe was the one.
Still call them up. They still have the same responses, but just like with the news that the code got stolen, they're talking about COVID developments. Like, I really think people are starting to see the future of gaming where it's going, and they're going to start putting it behind the pony that's really going to kind of push that. Like, it didn't work with Google Stadia, which don't even get me started on the bullet I dodged with that one.
Yeah, you definitely dodged that one.
So when you said, by the way, how could Stadia go wrong? I looked up. There's a website called Google Graveyard. It will show you everything.
I know. I know. I love Google, but they do some stupid things like Duo, which is their video calling, isn't part of regular calling. It's a whole separate app. I don't know why. Just put it part of regular fucking phone calling. It's not that hard. They have a whole new text message system that replaces the old text message system because it's RMS instead of SMS. And so there's a whole new, like,
Google Hangouts.
Google Hangouts are supposed to be the next big thing.
That's how we met. Google Hangouts.
Yeah, like, so then another thing people asked Xbox this week was, what's up with you not having rechargeable controllers by default?
That makes sense.
That they don't have rechargeable controllers by default. You have to go buy special things. And you know what their response was? Well, people just like putting batteries in their controllers. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? It's so much more effective to just drop something to the charger overnight and pick it up and go in the morning.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. The only justification I could see is that when the battery eventually goes bad, that you can easily replace it without having to send it in or do anything like that.
I mean, I think even on the PlayStation, you can still snap it out. There's a USB port, but you can still take it out. Like the one I have, you snap in the battery pack and you just put it on the charger, and it lights up green when it's done. It's red when it's not done. So I mean, it's not that hard, but it's so much more convenient than having to rely on batteries around the house. Because the only batteries I have in this house, they're all rechargeable. I don't buy any batteries anymore.
How about recharge packs for the Xbox?
On my Elite controller, I have rechargeable batteries in it right now because I got to buy a new charger because my second charger stand was the original one that you slid in, and that don't ever buy one like that. They suck. I don't want you put them upside down on it because those things work. Yeah. This one, I've had it pretty much since Xbox One launched, and it just got worse every fucking month. You have to like jiggle it in there, just get the little lights to turn on, and hopefully it charges over. Like, you never know. So I decided this week I threw that shit away. But
I mean, I don't know. It seems such a bizarrely archaic thing. Like I wanted to get back at my kids, so I took the battery out of their controllers. Fuck you, kids.
Yeah, I don't get it. But I'll, the new system works with all the controllers we have now, and I absolutely love my Elite controller. It took me some time to get used to it. Now I'm so used to it, I can't play with a regular controller because I'm all trying to push the tabs on the back, and I was like, oh, I can't do that anymore. I just wish you could program a different setup for each game and remember it. There's only 2 profiles on there, so that's the only thing I would change. Make it so it knows your gamer profile. When you load up a game, your Elite controller changes because not all of them need to be the same. Mm-hmm. And then the last bit of Xbox news this week is out of nowhere today, I think it was today, they announced that Sea of Thieves is coming to Steam with cross-platform play. So there's going to be more pirates on the ocean.
Wait, people still play that game?
Oh my God, yes, people play the game. Like, we used to have the most fun playing it. I really want to get back into playing it as they expanded it all. But I've had some of the best stories. Like I got really good at piloting the little ship by myself, and I was on an island, and I'm real conscious of listening for things. I know when the megalodon is around you. I know when people are swimming near you. I know when a ship is coming. So I'm putting this thing on my ship, and I hear a ship, and I look over, and there's a bigger ship with people jumping off of it. I hear them swimming, so I quickly get my raise up, and I start. And I hear them swimming next to my ship trying to get on, but I'm picking up speed because I just let the wheel go straight, and I'm up there adjusting the sail so I keep the speed. It was a 20-minute chase. They went on my chest. This big ship was firing on me. I went into a storm, a hurricane, because I know how to sail in a hurricane from this game. They tried to chase me that shit. They lost me. That's how I lost them after 20 fucking minutes of these little people screaming at me, cussing at me from their ship because it's made so you can hear people around you. I can hear them with their bullhorns screaming and cussing at me how they're going to kill me, but they can't get on my goddamn ship. That game is fun.
It's fun.
I do wish it had a mode where you could just go play without interference. I know that was the whole point of the game, but when you spawn up and you're instantly being killed because there's people spawn griefing you, it's kind of so I think they may have turned that off. But once you hit the seas, there's that tenseness of, am I going to be sought out? Am I going to get sunk by this fucking megalodon? Because it'll just pop up. And I haven't learned the sound of the skeleton ships yet, but they like to pop up too and just set you on fire. So, yeah.
Yeah, the first time you and I played that game, I have a great clip saved on the Xbox still. And it was of us shooting and trying to kill the Megalodon. And I remember looking for it, and you were like, it's the Megalodon. And I went, what? Where? I can't see it. And I looked on the side, and all of a sudden it leapt right in front of me. Right in front of my
we
face.
We actually killed it that time, I think.
Yes, we did kill it.
We had a full crew. We actually killed it.
It knocked me out of the ship, and I had to swim back onto the ship and start loading cannonballs and shooting at it again. That was crazy.
Like Jeffrey's favorite thing is to load himself into a cannon and shoot himself onto an island or onto another person's ship. He loves getting into cannons and firing himself off.
It's even more fun once you've drank and done that. That's just the best.
Yeah, we created vomit tag where we drink and whoever got vomited was it. We all had to run away from them all like ah. No, that game was really fun, Pocky. You have no idea how much fun that game is because there is that tenseness of, are these people that on the horizon going to come kill me? I need to get this treasure where it needs to go before I get caught.
Like now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I learned how to sail by myself really well. I love doing it with people, but you have to have a good 4-person crew to do the big boat. Yeah, it gets really, and you can do alliances, which I love. You can put the alliance flag, and all of you get credit for everything everybody does. But someone can come alliance you and then kill you like that. So it's interesting, especially when someone manages to get on your boat and you're trying to shoot them, because the best thing about it is everyone is equal. There's no leveling system. There's no better weapons. There's just skins and cosmetics. Mm-hmm. Everybody's equal. So you can pick up the game any point in time you want, and you'll be exactly like everybody else. I think you got mad at me when I was mermaid statue hunting. I was like, we got to stop. I see something under the water.
No, the only thing that would make me mad in that game is that intuitively, I would press a certain button when picking up explosive barrels, and instead of pressing the button to throw it, I would drop it, which would light it, and it would explode.
And it
and
would
sink our boat.
explode.
And I think I did that a time or two, and I was furious with myself. And I think you may have done it after that. And I'm
Yeah, because
if you play the game, you do it. It's just how it is.
Yeah, they added a whole bunch of new things. It's amazing. That game has evolved really well, so I'm really excited. An influx of players.
They update it pretty regularly and add free DLC.
There's
a
new
ton of stuff
DLC to it. They have these monthly events. They have all sorts of. And now there's pets that you could dress up. So I will be getting a parrot with my peg-legged pirate. I'm excited for more people. Like I said, I just wish they would have a leave me the fuck alone. I'm just exploring mode.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That's definitely one we have.
Thank you for the follow, E1G2. Thank you very much for your follow.
Oh yeah, thank
follow.
you guys. Was on Mixer?
Yeah.
We usually get a lot of Mixers
very cool.
out, so it makes me super excited. So that's all we have for the news this week. I do have surgery in my mouth tomorrow, so Sunday I want to play Halo. Lots of explosions. So you're gonna have to carry the game, Cynic. I'm just telling you right now.
Hey, don't I always? I'm good with that.
No, you bitch. I carried us that last one because you tried to kill me, and I killed you because you flipped me out of the car.
No. I kept punching you in the back of the head.
Oh, wait. No. I think I blew you up out of the Pelican, and then I got in, and you couldn't blow me up because it saved me. It cut out right when I was about to explode.
No. I jumped out, and I think I stuck you, and then jumped back in, and yeah, like we can't die after the cutscene starts. And I was cool with that, but I was just like, I want to stick you. I want to stick you just so you know. I know you're not going to die when this cutscene starts, but you're going to know.
That thing, it took your seat. I was done.
No. When you shot me a few times or blew me. No, you kept grenading, and after a while, after I got killed by like the blanket grenades you kept throwing, if I died, I told myself, okay, each time I die now, I'm going to punch you in the back of the head. Okay, and so I would die and immediately, clack, I'd clock you in the back. And eventually you were like, hey, what? Did you just kill me? And I'm like, this is the fourth time I've killed you. I'm like, yeah, I'm not. No, that wasn't me.
It wasn't blanking grenades. I threw 2 grenades that made an imp explode, which made the 3 vehicles next to explode, which caused a chain reaction in the entire room that we were ragdolling everywhere. So you can't blame that one on me entirely.
I definitely.
No, we blame everything on you, Gavin. That's what we do.
Exactly.
So that's been it for this week's Super Gamer Bros live podcast. We'll be back with you guys next week at 8 o'clock. Same time, same fun place. You can watch us all over online, Facebook, YouTube, Mixer, Twitch, Periscope, and D-Live now. We're on D-Live. So it's been lots of fun. I don't know who's watching it over there because I haven't actually gone to go check our stats, but yay, I'm excited that we're over there.
If anyone's watching us on D-Live, that's impressive.
Yeah,
I was on D-Live for a year, and I got 1 viewer out of it.
I like the fact that E1G2 is a gaming connoisseur. That's how I think about it. Like, I love my Xbox because I'm such a social gamer, and it's built for that. Like, if PlayStation were that way, I'd go to the PlayStation. I mean, it feels weird to have a DualShock controller in my hand these days because it's been, like, forever. But, yeah, he has a good point. Gamings are just supposed to be fun. So... Yeah.
Well, I own an Xbox. I own a PS4.
So why are you playing games with this bitch?
Because I can only afford one subscription, and I got PlayStation Network.
Jump on Warframe.
I do on PC.
Oh, Warframe's controls are too weird for me. I can't figure out the backwards controls.
Warframe is so fun.
I know, right? I've got like 100-something hours in that game.
Oh yeah, a friend and I beat the tar out of that game until we just kept grinding through all the other stuff, and I was like, okay, well, I'm kind of bored with it now. And then he was like, hey, they added a lot more stuff. I jumped in and played it for a little bit, and I was like, it's fun, but it's still kind of the same, and I'm done with it.
It's very grindy game, but it's fun.
It was a lot of fun while it lasted. That's so
Cynic. Sure. I have to ask a question for you.
Pocky,
did you get to the moon?
Yes.
Did you get to the moon?
We got to the moon.
Was that not the most epic moment?
That was very cool. That was very, very cool.
I think when it comes to the moon, the most epic moment is fighting the moon in Dead Space 3.
Fighting the
That was the boss, was the moon.
I never did play Dead Space 3.
Okay. Here's why I like Dead Space 3, because you can co-op it. But what you don't realize is you guys don't co-op the same things together. Like, we were going through a hallway and Dean's like, what's with that baby on the fucking wall with blood? I was like, there's no baby on the wall. His character was hallucinating. And so he was going, and I had to protect him while he's playing this whole other game. And so our paths kept crossing, and like he'd have to protect. Like, he kept seeing the weirdest shit. Like, the baby, I wanted to see the baby on the wall. Come on now. Yeah. And then when the boss is literally the moon, you're fighting an alien moon. Like, it's the best boss battle next to Sephiroth.
I think that's one of our top subjects next time. Is what is the best boss moment ever for you?
Boss moments are always good.
That'll be next week's question of the week. What is the best boss moment? We'll put it on Facebook early so everyone can have a chance to start commenting. But that's it for today's episode. We're out of time. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. You can listen to this on our podcast later, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, Lila. C1G2.